Hello, everyone. Welcome. My name is Shashini. I am an education specialist here at LMN, and I'll be taking you all through the Crew app today. Up until now, you might have heard about it a little bit, maybe seen a couple demos of it. What I want to do today is kind of go over all of the features that it has today and show you in a really detailed way how to use the application on a daily basis. So, what we're going to do is I want to put on the hat of a crew lead and go through what a typical day might look like for a crew lead. I think in this training, I likely have some crew leads here as well as off. So I'm going to kind of flip between, being a crew lead as well as an office staff today to show you what all of those capabilities are. Uh, so if you have any questions, please let me know at any point. Happy to answer anything in the or in the Q&A. Just pop those over whenever you have a question. Um, I usually keep it up all the time so I can answer quite quickly. And let's get going. So again, we're here to look at our Crew app today, which again is the app to track hours as a crew lead. This is how you are creating timesheets for the work you're doing as a crew lead. So in that way, you're also creating your timesheets for everyone on the crew as well, because your crew members will not be creating their own timesheets. Our agenda for today, I want to go through some of the main functions of the app. Then we're going to go through, like I said, that day of a crew lead, creating a timesheet together, then submitting that timesheet together as well, and then taking a look at the office staff, how we can review those timesheets once they come in as well for payroll. So the Crew app can be accessed by your crew leads as well as your office admin. All of the office admins and crew leads get a login. Of course, office admins won't necessarily be going in there day to day and creating timesheets, but they do have the option to log in. As I mentioned, crew leads are the ones logging in every day into the app. They're the ones creating a timesheet for everyone on the crew. Now, we also just released a new update of our Crew app, which is the Crew Member app or Crew Member login. So this is a brand new feature of the software in that now your crew members can actually log into the app. They can't necessarily do anything on it, like they can't submit anything or create a timesheet. Rather, what the crew member login is for now is for them to review what timesheets were submitted on their behalf. What were their hours during a payroll? What were their hours during a certain pay period? For them to see if all of their hours in the last couple of weeks have been tracked accurately. So that way, your crew members also have access to see that information about themselves that's contributing to their payroll. If they notice any kind of mistakes, that way they can reach out to the office and say, hey, I noticed a mistake here on XYZ date. I actually worked X amount of hours. So again, that crew member login, that's brand new. And again, I'll show you towards the end of this training really quickly, but there's no actionable buttons on there, so I can't do anything. It's just everything is view only. And then, as I mentioned before, the crew lead is the one responsible for creating a timesheet every day and submitting that every day. Some benefits with the Crew app: it eliminates a whole lot of paperwork. Everything that your crew lead needs to know about a job now is on the Crew app when they clock into a job. So if anyone here on the office side had joined us for the estimating or the job creation training, you'll remember that in the estimate as well as in the job, we created notes for the job site location, for tasks, for services. We created notes so that our crew lead would have access to see all the information they need to as soon as they clock into a job, as well as we could share photos and files with the crew lead as well per job as well. So that way the crew lead has access to that. Keep in mind with photo and file sharing, that is a professional package feature only. So if you have a starter plan, that's not available. But if you do have a professional plan, you can share unlimited photos and files that get synced with the crew app. So again, your crew lead, once they get onto the job site, they have all that information on their phone. They don't need to be calling anyone in the office or request any of that paperwork in a job binder. Everything is just really digitally accessible. This also allows for a lot of real-time data because essentially how the flow is theoretically supposed to work is every day when your crew lead gets onto the job site in the morning, they're going to clock in with real time and they're going to clock out at the end of the day with real time. There's not going to be any kind of leeway there since they should be doing it always in the moment every day. There's also a GPS verification on your crew's locations. So what this means is anytime your crew clocks into a task or service, it starts a GPS verification. And how that works is that GPS tag is available for folks in your office to see. So that way, as a division manager, anyone in the office that wants to see, what jobs are currently in progress, they can go ahead and just open that up on their LMN screen to see where your crews are at, what jobs are currently in progress right now, rather than having to call each crew and manually asking them where they are. So it's just a lot of operational excellence without any kind of like phone tag. Rather, they can just log in and they can see what's happening. Likewise, if you have your permission setting enabled, your customer, your end customer, your client, they also get to see that a job is in progress as well, and what location the crew is at, which is a really great feature, again, for your customers if we think about residential, but also your commercial contacts that have multiple job sites maybe. And so they can see when a crew is on one of their sites and when it was last serviced. So a really extremely high level of communication and customer service without having to do any communication. Rather, when your crew lead is just going about their regular day clocking in, that communication gets shared with your end customer as well, which I think is just one of the biggest benefits. Now, with the GPS verification, I always like to double down on this, and I'm going to show you what this looks like in real life as well. But as soon as you clock out, like the second you clock out of a task or a service, it stops the GPS tracking. And I always want to reiterate that because I don't want anyone to feel like they're being tracked all the time. No, it's just while you're on the job. As soon as you clock out, it's going to stop the tracking. And again, I will show you what that looks like. So no one is going to be tracking you, on your personal time during the evenings and weekends, so long as you clock out and submit your timesheet, right? Which is part of your daily responsibilities if you're using the Crew app. The Crew app also allows for material tracking as well. So if on the estimate or on the job, whoever created it back in the office had indicated any materials or equipment to be tracked on usage, then the crew lead every day can indicate what that usage was on the job that day. There's also optimized routing features as well. So for any of your maintenance crews, the app will create an optimized route. So that way you're not wasting any time on drive time. So the app you can download on the Google Store or the Play Store. Highly recommend getting in there and checking it out for yourself. And with that, let's jump into the Crew app now. So I'll share my phone screen here. All righty. So the first thing I want to do is open up my app here, which is the LMN Crew with the LMN logo there. And I'll just log out so you guys can see the process from start to finish. Okay. So here we are on the main screen to log in. You can see here that there's actually three ways to log in to our mobile app. So you can log in with your phone number, and then it's going to send you a verification code to tap in. You can also, same thing, log in with your email address, and then it's going to send you a verification code to your email that you can tap in to log in. And then you can log in the old-fashioned way with your username and password. All right, once I'm logged in here, I want to go into first the main menu here, which is that little hamburger icon. When you go in here, you can see my company, Big Mac Landscaping. I'm logged in, Shishini. And then here I can see a nice visual of my hours for this pay period. So you can see here, I don't have any hours submitted from July 29th until August 4th or until today. There wasn't any hours submitted. And then we can see this breakdown here for today. I'm at 0. This week I'm at 0 and pay period. I'm at 0. And you can see it's also going to indicate if I've gone, how much of my hours is on overtime as well. And then if I've submitted hours or submitted timesheets, I can also see how many hours were approved by the office already. So it kind of gives you a nice visual when you do have timesheets submitted. Then the next tab here, or you can also go into my hours here as well. So if we just select on that graph anywhere, it's going to redirect you over here. I can toggle and change what pay period I want to have a look at. So if I open up an older one here, over there, we can see some hours over here. And I can see again what hours were regular hours, what hours were overtime, and what was double overtime if I did go into any of those overtime hours. And then you can see what that breakdown was as well per day and hourly. So that was when we click into the graph. We also have a My Training tab here. This is linked to your Greenius ID. So you can now automatically, just once you enter in your ID, you can be redirected to your Greenius training. And as a crew lead, I can see what trainings have been assigned to me. What do I have that's pending training wise? Or I can also take a look at some other trainings available to me as well. We also have crew tracking here. Now, this is only visible if it's been enabled for each crew lead and their account. So you have the ability to see what other crew members, what their jobs are, what they're working on, to see just kind of, again, what they're working on. But again, that permission setting needs to be enabled by your admin who has created each of the user accounts. At the bottom here, we have a few additional items. So you have your help guide. If you go into this, it's going to redirect you. Over here, you can see a new page is open. These are additional instructions on how to use your app. If your crew lead needs some additional support on using the app. So in addition to this training, of course, crew leads are always welcome to attend our live trainings. But on the day of, if they need a little bit of a refresher, we have this like written overview, step by step, how to use the app, as well as an additional video here that they can watch to review on instructions of how to use the application. So let's go back into our app. And then we have our settings feature. Here we want to enable our GPS here. You can also change your language of the app from English to Spanish as well. We do have the crew app training available in Spanish as well. It's not with a live trainer, but the crew app training, we have a recorded training that is available in Spanish. You want to toggle on that GPS tracking here as well. Again, it's only while you're using the app or logged into a task. You can also enable push notifications. So now for me as a crew lead, if I'm someone that needs a reminder every day in the morning or at the end of my day to submit my timesheet, because those should be routine things every day in the morning when I get to a job site, I should clock in. at the end of a task or service, I need to clock out. At the end of my working day, I need to submit that timesheet. Very, very important, because as a crew lead, it's your responsibility to create those hours and timesheets for everyone on the crew. So it's an extremely important responsibility that you want to get into really good routines and habits of. So if you're someone that needs reminders or notifications, then you can enter that here and let the app know what type of notifications or reminders that you need. And then you can include the weekends as well if your company works on the weekends. And then you can just view your terms and conditions and privacy policy of the app as well. And then lastly, you can view my profile here where I can see my work for the day. We haven't started work yet, so nothing's been recorded. And I can also mark myself or someone on my team as late or absent over here as well. But we can keep doing it on the job as well. All right, so that was like the main menu here. Again, over there on the gray hamburger icon. This is our main page once we log in. You can see here we have the calendar bar at the top. We're set to today, August 1st. And then what we want to do first and foremost is find what we're working on. Now, there's 3 different ways to find what you're working on. The easiest way, and what we recommend, is through your crew schedule. Now, this is in your office. When you create a job, you have the option to schedule the job and then schedule a crew to the job. So this way, I know I'm gardening crew. I can just enter in as gardening crew, and here we go. I can see all of the locations I need to hit today for my crew, and everything is available. And again, I can see this is for August 1st as well, which is today. The second way I can find what I'm working on, if I go back over here to the drop down, is from a route or a group. So for example, if I'm on a cleanup route, a snow route, anything like that, and I know that it's been added to a route or a job group, then I can just easily go over here and I can find the route. If I want to go to storm cleanup here, I can go ahead and see all the addresses on the route I'm supposed to do today. Again, that works really well for snow as well, snow routes. The last way you can find what you're working on is, again, if I go to the drop down, is through a specific job. So this is if you're off from the office, you've communicated to the crew lead what the exact job name is that they're working on. So then they would go to jobs, find a job, and then they would just type in the address here. There we go. I can see here we have a White Heather job. The only thing with this is every job would have to have a unique name. So just if the title is the address and maybe you've done multiple projects at this address already, you can see here how it gets a little bit confusing. We have others, right? So maybe like how you see over here, you might want to add the date in if you're doing it in that way. But again, we always recommend scheduling your jobs to a crew, so that way that's the easiest way for your crews to find what they're working on. If I go to my crew schedule, gardening crew, and I can see what's been scheduled for me today. Now that we see what we're working on here, we have our day, let's take a look at our crew. So over here at the just under the calendar bar, I can see today's crew, and I can see some initials there. So if I go into clicking it there, I can see that we have myself on the crew. I have Jim and Pam. So Jim and Pam are on my gardening crew all the time here. And how we can set up our daily crew is, I'll just turn that off and let's go through the process. All right, so on the main screen here now, I can see that I don't have anyone else on my crew, and we need to add crew members to the day, right? To this timesheet. So once we enter in here, we're going to go to add crew members, and you're just going to easily type in their name, or you can scroll through and click them in as well. To add Jim just to today's timesheet, I could just click this check mark here, but I want to add Jim to my everyday crew, so I don't need to do this process every day. So I'm going to click on Jim, and I'm going to go to keep on my daily crew. Going to go back and do the same thing with Pam. And I want to keep her in my daily crew as well. There we go. And now I can see I have my crew as well here. You can see here, as the day starts to go, our efficiency score will move on this meter as well. This is based on efficiency of productivity that my office has set based on the estimate, based on, the job site, the hours, the estimated hours for a job. We can see what our efficiency score is throughout the day. All right, so now that we've kind of overviewed everything, let's go ahead and clock into our day or start our day now. You can see here under every address, I already have a drive time option here to indicate my drive time. This is what it looks like if in the office when you've created this job type that we added. So for any pruning jobs, I added a drive time shortcut. So that way, as a crew lead, it's really easy for me to indicate my drive time to this job. Okay, so that's what that drive time shortcut is. Makes it really easy for the crew lead. I'm going to go ahead and click that green icon. I'm going to start drive time. And you can see here, I can see who's starting on drive time. So we're going to do it for the whole crew. I can over here launch directions after starting this task or turn that off. And then all you're going to do as a crew lead is you're going to press this green icon to start drive time because you're doing it in real time every day. Now, for us, and this is just for my training so I can create a full timesheet, I'm going to change the time of the day over here. So that way I have a timesheet that makes sense. So all I did was I just clicked on the gray box. I went into the time and I changed the time manually. And I can see what crew members to apply it for. And then I'm going to hit this start icon. You can see here, there's that redirection to Google Maps because we have that take me to the directions option. So it's going to take us to the location and we can find our directions there. All right, I can see now my drive time is in progress here for Henry Bauer. And then let's go ahead and, oops. And let's go ahead and say that we've arrived on location at Henry Bauer and we're ready to start pruning. So what I can do is I'm just going to go ahead and go into pruning here. I'm going to hit that green icon. And then over here, what we want to do is before I start my pruning, I can see that there's some instructions left for me. Again, these are task instructions that were created by my estimator when they created the estimate, or from the office when the job was created. You can put in task instructions as well so that all of that information is available to the crew lead. We can see here our job files is 0, so no files were uploaded. And then I can even see a history of this job site and see what work has been done. So we can see last week some pruning was done, the week before some pruning. So they get like weekly pruning done. We can see on job history and job site history. So over here for pruning, we want to go ahead and start. But again, I'm going to just change the time. Again, your crew leads won't be doing this. I'm just doing this for training purposes. So let's go ahead and change the time. So I'm ready. We started driving at 7, ready to start pruning at 7:15. And you can see here, the crew app is going to prompt us to say, hey, wait a minute, you didn't clock out of drive time, but I can just go ahead and end that task there for 7:15. You can see here that red icon to stop. Drive time has ended, and we can go ahead and start pruning. Back over here on my daily rundown, I can see that drive time has been completed. I can see what members of the crew did it. So Pam, Shishini, and Jim, and we have a total crew hours of 45 minutes. So even though it was only a 15-minute drive, we can see that that's been applied for each of my crew members for a total of 45 minutes. And then we can see that pruning is in progress right now. So anything in progress is always in purple. And you can see the clock is kind of like moving here rather than when something's completed, there's the check mark there. All right, so let's go ahead and fast track time. Let's clock out of pruning. Again, for your crew leads, they're just going to click on the stop icon. I'm going to go ahead and change time here a little bit. There we go. Let's end the task. Hit that stop icon. You can see here when I'm ending a task, it's just giving me a review of everyone's hours. Are we applying this to everyone? Yes. Everyone worked on pruning from 7:15 to 7:45. Let's go to next. Now I want to indicate what service we completed. Pruning, that's finished. And then we can add in some visit notes over here. So these notes, they're going to be sent over to your office with the timesheet. But also, if that permission setting was enabled on the customer portal, then your customers also have the option to see these notes. So you just want to clarify that within your company. Does the customer have access or no to see these notes? My weather notes, they get auto-populated based on my geolocation. And then we can also add in any equipment notes as well. I'm going to go to done, next. Now I can upload or take a photo as well as the job done. So that way, again, just a really high level of communication without any kind of actual phone calls or emails being sent. Rather, I'm just going about my day as a crew lead. I'm clocking out. I can take a photo of my job being done here, upload that, and then this photo goes to my office with my timesheet, but this photo also goes to my customer on their customer portal so they can see that job done as well. Again, really great feature for any of your commercial or government contracts with multiple locations. So that way your primary user or manager that the company, they can just log into their customer portal and they can see all these services being completed with job done photos. Going to confirm my end time and just go ahead and end that task. All right, now that we have completed pruning at Henry Bauer, let's go ahead and move to our next location, which is, let's go over here. We want to go to Turnhouse Crescent. And we have our drive time again, and you can see here at Turnhouse Crescent, while we're actually doing mowing and bed maintenance there, we have two services. So let's go ahead and start drive time. 7:45, I'm going to turn off launch directions. Start. All right, and then let's clock out. So the last time when we clocked out of drive time, I just went to the service and then I started the service. So that way the app just prompted me to clock out of drive time, but I can also just go into drive time and clock out as well over here. So kind of two different ways to do that. There we go, clocked out. And then let's go ahead and go into our services now, mowing and beds. What I want to show you here is in the case where you have two services or multiple services at one location and you need to split your crew into these services. So let's go into mowing. And let's say for mowing, it's going to be just myself and Pam, and Jim will be doing bed maintenance. So for mowing, it's Pam and myself. Over here, again, I can see my instructions. I can see here that there's been some job files uploaded, so I can see some files in PDFs that the office left for me. I can take a look at that before I get into this job. And then let's go ahead and start our mowing services. All right, that's in progress. There we go. We can see mowing is in progress. And then let's go ahead and go into bed maintenance. Oh, let's click somewhere else. There we go. Beds. Okay. Sometimes when I use my mouse with the phone, it just doesn't like where I'm clicking. There we go. All right. So for beds, we already have myself and Pam on mowing. So let's go ahead and manually change the crew here. So we're going to take off Pam and myself. We're just going to leave Jim over here. If in the case, for example, you wanted to add an additional crew member just for this task, so maybe like there was another crew member in the area, maybe, I don't know what it is, maybe someone came in, you want to add them in specifically just for bed maintenance. Maybe this is a larger task. We need two people on or service. So what I could do is go to add crew members and I can go through here and add in an additional crew member over here. So I'm going to go ahead and add Dwight to help Jim with beds. There we go. So I can see for beds, it's Jim and Dwight. And let's just change their time here. There we go. And we can see here we needed to apply a job rate for this service as well. And there we go. We have mowing in progress and we have bed maintenance in progress with multiple crew members. Over here, even I can see the breakdown here. I can see it's PNS on mowing and J and D on beds. Let's fast forward and say that we're done. Completed mowing. And let's clock out for mowing. Let's do the same thing for beds. Clock out. And over here for beds, you can see that these materials were enabled for tracking on this job. So I can go ahead and indicate how much I've used by the plus icon, and I can manually enter what we've used. So I can even see what was estimated to be used per visit. And then, but you can see here, I can enter in manually whatever amount that I used and go ahead and enter that in. Next. And there we have it. Done. All right, and now we're done at Turnhouse Crescent. We're ready to make our way over to Stonebridge Drive to do our last location of the day for some mulching. Now, the scenario I want to go through here is, well, what if once we've completed some of our services, all of a sudden it starts raining really heavy and we can't go to Stonebridge and we can't complete mulching because it's raining too hard. In that case, what I want to do, again, our application is about operational excellence. We want to minimize any kind of back and forth phone calls with the office. So what we're going to do here, I'm just going to go into my mulching service. I'm going to click on it. If I scroll down, you can see here I have the option to skip visit. I'm going to go to skip and I'm going to say, maybe I should spell correctly. There we go. I'm going to leave a note. And I'm going to also indicate that this needs to be rescheduled. And there we have it. We can see that the mulch install for Stonebridge has been skipped. We can see my total crew summary here for the day so far. If I go into my main menu here, there we go. I can see we have some hours for today. There we go. So you can see before, when we started this training in the morning, everything was zeroed out, and we can see here we have an hour and a half for today so far. So it gets populated as you go through the day. And then if I go to my profile, I can see that rundown as well of what I've done so far today. All right, so the last step, now that we've done all of our locations, the last thing we need to do is we need to submit my timesheet, because even though we've clocked in and out, my office doesn't have a timesheet for them to approve and go into payroll. So let's go ahead. We're going to go to review timesheet. I can see my efficiency score for today, the total hours, the job time. I can see that breakdown here of each day, of each of my locations and what we did. So if I need to change anything here, if I click into it, you could actually change something here as well. So if you're noticing any kind of error, maybe on pruning, if I click into it, I can change the start time or the end time if I'm noticing if I put in something wrong here, or maybe like Pam came in late, I can indicate that here as well. So again, I can change anything. All these edits by the crew lead can only be done before submitting the timesheet. So you need to ensure that everything is correct before submitting that timesheet. Again, that's why it's there for your review, the time summary. And looks good to me. Let's go ahead and submit. Before we submit, it's also going to ask if the crew took any breaks. You can see here, you can apply the same break time for everyone. So over here at the top, it says same lunch for all crew. And we can see Dwight, Jim, Pam, Shishini, and it's toggled on. If you want to have individual breaks for everyone, I can toggle that off. And then I can say Dwight didn't take a break. Jim didn't take a break so far. We can say maybe Pam took let's say Pam took an break at 8 a.m. for 10 minutes. Right, so we can do it per person again here who took breaks. Done, and submit my timesheet. And there we have it. That is the day of a crew lead. We started our day, we found what we were working on, we went to our different locations, completed our services, added those hours for everyone on our crew, and submitted our timesheet. What I want to show us now is, let's go into the LMN Desktop app and let's take a look at what all of this looks like over there now. All right. So in LMN, what I first want to show is if we go under schedule, if we go to whiteboard, if you can see I'm on my gardening crew for today. I can see here what locations were completed. So Henry Bauer was completed, Turnhouse was completed, and I can see here the indication that Stonebridge was skipped. If I click into it, I can see here Stonebridge um, was skipped, and we can see that it starts to thunderstorm and cannot complete mulching right now. If we go into the timesheets to view the timesheets, I want to go into timesheet approve. Over here, I can see that a timesheet was submitted Thursday, August 1st by Shishini. And we can see this full breakdown of everybody, their hours. If I click into it, we can see there's a little bit of like red icon indications here, caution icons. It's telling us what that's indicating is that under the edit column, it's saying that there was an edit made that's different from real time. So the app or on the LMN desktop, it's always going to let you know if there was any kind of variance on time or location from real time. So here it's saying that everyone was clocked in for 7 a.m., but actually it was 8:28. Same thing here. It's saying that they started at Henry Bauer at 7:15, but it was actually 8:31. So you can catch any kind of variance over there. This was under the timesheet approval. If everything was good, you're going to go ahead and approve. If you want to see a more detailed breakdown of the timesheet, I can also go to under timesheet tab. I can go to timesheet list. Over here, there's that timesheet. And if I click into it, I can go to task info. And over here, I can see at Turnhouse, mowing was completed. I can see notes for that location, the efficiency score, photos, and files. All right, so that's the timesheet from the office side. Um, I did want to show you a few other things before we end off. So I know one of the things that I wanted to show you guys was the tracking, but I realize now I've clocked out. So that way, if I go into timesheets, if I go to live job tracking, sorry, not live job tracking, if I go to live crew tracking, if I go to where are they, and we can see that Pam, no one is clocked in. Pam's not clocked in. Let's find Jim. Same with Jim. Jim's not clocked in. You can see here for anyone that's clocked in, it's going to be a little green box. And then if I go to the map, it'll show me what their location on the map is. But for Pam and Jim, it's not there since we clocked out. Let me see if I can just pull up. Let's just clock into something else so I can show you guys what that looks like. All right. Let's go to someone else. Let's just change our crew member. Add new timesheet. Okay. So we have clocked in Alex. And let's go into our LMN desktop now. There we go. Let's refresh that page. Let's go to the Where Are They list. And let's scroll down. And here we go. I can see Alex Smith is currently clocked into 92 White Heather. If I go on this map icon, I can see where they are. And you can see the crew location is over there, this red pin. And I can see here that the job site location, 92 White Heather, is all the way down here. So you can see that the app is telling me that my crew has clocked into a job, but they're nowhere near that job site location, in fact. All right. So what I want to show you again in real time is us clocking out and the geolocation stopping. And my phone screen stopped sharing, so I just got to reconnect that. Give me one sec. All right. Let's go to the app. Let's clock out. Just going to skip all of this. All right, we've clocked out now. Let's go back into LMN. Let's refresh. Let's go to my Where Are They list view. Let's scroll down. And there we go. We can see here Alex Smith is no longer being tracked. So literally the second we clock out of a task, it stops that GPS tracking. Okay. The last thing that I want to show before we end off, guys, is that crew member login into the app. So let's go back into the app and log in as a regular crew member. So you can see it looks pretty much the same. I can see here a timesheet was submitted for me at 8:39 today. I can see what I'm working on as well if I want to view my schedule for the next few days or for today. But this is like the main thing over here is crew hours. I can see what my hours have been for the pay period. I can see what's been submitted on my behalf and what's been approved. That was under the My Hours. Again, we can go into different pay periods as well and see what our hours were. If we want to see what we're working on. over here, we can see what we're working on. And you can see here, unlike the crew lead login, we can't actually action anything. Like I can't clock in or clock out of anything. I can just only see a review of what is my schedule or what's been submitted on my behalf so far. On the calendar icon here, anywhere where there's a green line here, that's indicating that a timesheet was submitted. So we can see here that timesheets were submitted Monday, Wednesday, and the Thursday. Right? So I can backdate and look at all the days that a timesheet was submitted. Right? So this was the crew member login. Again, this just launched last week, brand new. And it gives crew members now the visibility into looking at what their hours were for the pay period on a given day. It's view only. They cannot action any items on here on the application. So it's still the crew lead's responsibility to create those timesheets of a daily hours. So that way that can go into payroll. All right, guys, we're just about at time. If anyone has any questions about what we've covered so far, let me know. Haven't seen too many questions as we've gone through, but let me know if you have any questions before we end off. I do have a couple things that I want to review before we end here. What I'm going to do first is, while you guys are asking any questions, is I'm also going to launch a quick poll here for you all. That should appear on your screen right now. Just 3 quick questions. We can go ahead and take an answer. Let's go have a look and answer that. They're easy. You're not being tested. It's really just for us to understand what some of your knowledge retention has been during the training today. So just a little bit of information for us. Again, if you have any questions, let me know as well. What I want to do for the next couple minutes is just go through some information for you all on events that we have happening. So the first thing that I want to let you know is our live virtual trainings. So such as this one, these are trainings that we offer every single week that you're able to self-register for. So if you want to sign up for an additional training, you can go ahead and follow that QR code, or I've linked to you in the chat how you can go and sign up for a training as well. If you want to pass along this training for any of your crew leads to join, that's also an option. If you want your crew leads to start getting trained, they can definitely come join us for a training. Again, I've linked that for you in the chat. I wanted to mention our 4-day academy certification program that we have. This is an in-person 4-day program that we're offering at our Markham head office. This is a really in-detailed daily training that we're through all of the features of the software. We offer this training in a beginner track and an advanced track as well, depending how comfortable you are with the software right now. So the beginner one really goes through more in detail of what the software is, how you can start to use it. Advanced is more so for folks that have been using it, perhaps and need a little bit of help problem solving with areas or different areas of the software. So you're welcome to join that. That's actually starting in mid-August. It's a really great opportunity for just in-person engagement. You get to ask us your questions. We get to look at your account and help you or support you through anything, but also a great opportunity for peer-to-peer learning as well. The last time I had an opportunity to do an in-person program, a lot of the companies were just sharing different types of resources or tips that how they're using the software, and just really great engagement from each other, which you only get in person. We're so limited in what we can do in these kind of webinars because it's more so me talking at you and we don't get to engage together. So I've linked to you in the chat there where you can sign up for that too if you're interested, or go look at some more information. The next in-person program that we also have happening, that's starting very soon as well in mid-August, and this is happening all across the state, is our 2-day snow training program. Again, that's in person, and it's a 2-day program throughout the states. It's happening to help you get ready for the snow season, which is going to very, very quickly approach. We're almost halfway into the summer here. I've linked for you in the chat how you can sign up or view more information on snow as well. But really looking at getting prepared for your snow season, strategizing for snow, so that way you can be as efficient as possible when snow arrives. The last event that I wanted to share with you all is our weekly mastermind sessions. These are sessions offered by our CEO, Mark Bradley. He goes into really cool topics to help you look at how you can grow your business, grow your people and your revenue, talking about sales strategies, a lot of different strategies, cold calling, um, lots of different strategies. Again, just a wealth of knowledge. Mark also brings on different types of or different guest speakers as well that are just giants in the industry that have a lot of information to share as well. So those are like weekly 30-minute sessions on Wednesdays. I've sent you the link in the chat to sign up for that as well if you're interested. That is all the information that I have for you all today. Looks like we don't have any questions. I just want to thank everyone for your time today. I know it was an early morning for a lot of you guys, so thank you so much.